Good morning. Welcome back to Not Your College Life with Lisa Beals. I'm your host, Lisa Beals, and this is episode number 46, my top 5 podcasts for 2020. I'm Lisa Beals. I'm the Midwestern mom / college administrator who's done the college thing myself and put a few kids through school and realized that universities don't make this easy on us. As a university admin, I get it. I apparently do not have it within my capacity to change how the universities choose to interact with students and parents. So my purpose here is to bridge that gap for you. I'm here to give you answers and resources and guidance. So instead, Mom, you can just focus on raising that kiddo from a unruly teenager to a successful, productive, self-sufficient adult. Then you can just focus on empty nester syndrome. Okay, so let's get into this week's episode, my top 5 podcasts for this year. And if you listened to last week's episode with my top 5 books, it will come at no surprise that I could not limit myself to 5. So my goal is not to drag it on, but like last week with the books, there are some hidden jewels out there in podcast land. And so my hope for you is you find something in what I'm going to share that will bring you joy at some level in your day, that you could share with your student or a friend that would also bring them joy in their day. And again, my shares are predominantly self-help business, and I actually did throw in a couple just for fun that I couldn't help. And my expectation is for you to share yours with me, because if you guys know of a jewel that I don't know about, y'all need to tell me. I'm missing out. FOMO. I don't want to miss out on a great podcast because I don't know about it. So I expect you to share with me. All right. My first one is Life Coach School. The Life Coach School. I have referred to the Life Coach School many times. I have drunk the Kool-Aid with the Life Coach School. Brooke Castillo and her coaches, it's a little dramatic to say they saved my life, but y'all, she has a way of helping me to look at my brain and what my brain is lying to me about, what my brain is distracting me from, and she's got some good stuff. I could not pick just one. She's got over 300 episodes out there. And I'm here to tell you, you just scroll through her podcast episodes and drop in one and tell me if you're disappointed. She even did bonus episodes like daily when the pandemic first hit, when we were first experiencing lockdown, on how to handle chaos. She's got episodes talking about racism and how she came to terms with facing her own uninspected thoughts about race. Really challenging. So Life Coach School is number 1. I think I found her about 3 years ago. I was looking for podcasts on how to work with difficult people. I was, who's not experienced that once or twice in their life, working with someone difficult. And I was really struggling with, what to do. I had worked with HR. I had talked to friends, and I was looking for the magic bullet to fix it. And it's in here, right? It's in my head. I needed to fix how I was thinking about things. So I came across her secondhand from another podcast I was listening to on business, and this podcaster had mentioned Brooke Castillo and the Life Coach School, so I had to go check her out. And I think the summer of 17, I binged on my drive back and forth to work. I listened to every episode. And Brooke talks fast anyway, and I don't know if you guys do this with me, but I picked up this from my friend Homer. Homer tells me that when he listens to podcasts, he sets the playback speed faster, because I told him, oh, I couldn't listen to that podcast you referred me to because my mind kept wandering. It didn't move fast enough. He's like, well, Beals, change the playback speed. I'm like, oh, you can do that. And it did. It required my mind to stay engaged, so because they were talking faster. So for Brooke, I think most, like on an audio book, when someone's reading, I'll play that like at 1.75 playback speed, because I think for some reason most audio books just tend to really articulate and read slowly. And y'all, that did not hold my attention. So I don't know if you change my playback speed or not, but I would if I was listening to me. So for Brooke, I listen to her at 1.5 replay speed so that I am engaged. And all that to say, a 30-minute episode doesn't take me 30 minutes. It'll take me like 20. So I was able to listen to 2 episodes at least every drive to work and then drive home from work. And then sometimes, depending on what I was doing at work, I could plug her in and listen to her while I was doing some mindless work in the office. But Brooke Castillo, go check her out. I do not think she will disappoint you. Next on my list is this is mostly business, but it also has some personal development in it. It's Lead to Win with Michael Hyatt. I learned about Michael through Amy Porterfield. I'm a big fan of Amy Porterfield. She is the one that helped me realize my vision of this podcast and a business to help moms like you. So thank you, Amy, for that and for sharing Michael's podcast with me. Some of my favorites for Michael Hyatt are episode 142, 143, and 144, all talking about habits and the science behind why forming habits work and the brain space that frees up. I think I shared this in an episode before, where your prefrontal cortex, right, the fourth part of your brain, is the part that does the critical thinking, that can think about consequences and decisions. You can be intentional. And that part of your brain fatigues quickly. I think it has a capacity of like 5 or 10%. And when you bog that down with the minutia of what do I wear? What is my morning routine? What am I going to eat today? Do I need to exercise today? All of those things are they're taking away from that prefrontal cortex's ability to use those reserves for the big things. Like, what is this project I'm going to work on? Let me come up with my project plan for the next 30 days. How am I going to problem solve this project at work that seems to have me stumped? You need to save that brain power for those things that are going to move the needle forward in your personal and professional goals, and not the stuff like, what am I going to cook for dinner? So the habits that he talks about are just empowering you to be on autopilot for those things, like getting dressed, and because you're going to do that stuff either ahead of time or you're just going to do the same thing. And maybe people think that's boring, to have the same thing for breakfast, to wear the same kind of clothes, right, that don't require a lot of thought, to have the same daily habit of I'm going to get up, I'm going to work out, I'm going to have my coffee, I'm going to journal, I'm going to read, do my devotions. That may seem boring, but the rest of their life is where the excitement comes in. I'm just saying. Look at people that talk about daily habits. Where are they? Are they doing the 9 to 5 grind like us? A lot of them aren't. They're on stages. They're on camera. They're making their big mark in the world. And not to say that you have to be in the public eye and you have to be making a huge wave in the world to be really making an impact. If you are having a positive impact on one person, even if that's a friend, a child, a sibling, isn't that life's gift? For you personally to be able to help another human live a better life, have a better day. Just my morning ramblings. Another episode I really liked from Michael Hyatt was his bonus episode from May 14th. Listen. If you're doing something else, listen. This is a good one. I need you to listen. Michael Hyatt, Lead to Win, bonus episode from May 14th of 2020, teaching your kids goal setting and productivity skills. Did you hear that? You may think they've got it down, but you may also be like me, where you struggle to see the flaws in your precious children, and you only see their perfection. And you assume that they know all the things and have magic within them. Sis, take the time, arrange a conversation, share the episode after you've listened to it yourself, and see if it doesn't make a difference. What could it hurt? What could it hurt? Okay, number 3 for me is Lead Your Team with Chris Plackey. And Chris is the one that I found when I was looking for how to deal with difficult people at work. God bless Chris Plackey, she helped me find Brooke Castillo. But Chris is such a voice of reason when it comes to work. It's all just so simple. And when I'm like, oh, this is so hard, she's like, well, what does the job description say? What are the expectations? When there's issues at work, it's either they can't do the job or they won't do the job. It's either skill set or mindset. And it's up to me as a boss to figure out the difference, and then also to figure out, have I not clearly articulated expectations for success? And for me, that has been a lot of it in uncovering the difficulties. I have not clearly defined what success looks like. And that was a tough pill to swallow, because I just wanted to point at them and tell them that they were being hard. They weren't doing their job. But when I started looking deeper at it, did they even know what my expectations were? So Chris has got some great stuff out there. She recently, I want to say within the last year and a half, rebranded. And I can't even think of what her former podcast was. But that's where I found her, was her former podcast. And she's rebranded, and now it's Lead to Win. She has some great products for coaching if you're a female leader. She is an amazing champion for female leaders and has some great coaching tools if you're interested in following her. So some of my favorites of her recent podcasts are episode 8, Creating a Job Description. That's a good one. Episode 28, How to Deal with Arguing and Gossipy Team Members. That was a really good one. I think I listened to that one like 3 times. I think I listened to that one 3 times. Because invariably, I won't say you will never have that perfect work team. you will have pockets of time where y'all are just connecting and it's like magic. But more times than not, you're going to have that one or two people on your team that was not a great hire, that are nitpicky, that are never happy, that are always inciting some kind of unrest in your team. And so episode 28 is a great one to listen to when you're struggling with how to handle those staff or teammates that are arguing and gossiping. Okay, you're welcome. The next one, I've not listened to a ton, but it was pretty like, whoa, when I listened to them. Where did I hear about this? I think I might have heard this one from Brooke Castillo, maybe, or from, honestly, I listen to so many business podcasts. So there's Jasmine Star and Amy Porterfield and Sunny Lenarduzzi. I can't remember where I found this one. It's called the Learning Scientist Podcast. And here's what I love about it. These topics that are complex and difficult to wrap my head around, they synthesize it down for my unscientific brain. I'm like, that's really interesting. And I love stuff like that. So episode 40, memorizing facts and using information, was great. Some good hacks in there. And episode 50, metacognitive monitoring of adults and adolescents, young adults and adolescents. That was a good one too. So give those a listen. And these go back to, I think it was, I have the public library's app called Hoopla, and I found the Great Courses series about the brain and all the different aspects of the brain. And that one, I think I spent a week listening to those books, audiobooks. They're amazing. How the brain works, how it deals with memory, and how drugs affect it, and how aging affects it, and what does the infant brain look like versus the adolescent brain versus the aged brain. What does hormones in your body do to it? What does drugs do to your brain? It was amazing. So if you haven't listened to the Great Courses series on the brain, neuroscience, maybe I'm a geek. Maybe you guys don't get into that either. But it was so interesting to me. I think that's why the Learning Scientist podcast really spoke to me. I'm just really curious about that stuff. Okay, number 5 was John Maxwell Company Executive Leadership. I don't listen to him the same bingey way I listen to others, but he's got some great nuggets in his podcast that if you're interested, if you geek out with self-help like me, it's a good podcast to scroll through. So episode 111, I loved. How do you lead up without sucking up? I got that one just at the right time. And then number 109, are you influencing or just being bossy? That one made me do some self-reflection. That was another good one. Okay, so here are my honorable mentions. The Chalene Show. So Chalene Johnson, I found her through Beachbody, or I can't remember where I found her, but she has the Chalene Show and Build Your Tribe, which is more of a business, how to grow your business stuff. And she is such a genuine light. She's real. She has been open and honest with some difficulties in her marriage, with her kids. She's shared a lot of her business tips, and she's very generous with her knowledge. And she's just, a great example of what you could do, what the possibilities are. I think maybe she's my age, maybe she's 50-ish, less. She looks amazing. But she just takes care of herself. Now, here's my excuse, right? If I made the money that she made, I could afford to structure my day such that, I had all the equipment and the personal chef and all that. I don't think she has all that. I don't think she has a personal coach. I don't think she has a personal chef. She just has created a life that she's in charge of. Hashtag goals. That's what I'm working towards. So, yes, the Chalene Show. A lot of great content there. The number 7, we're almost done, is the History Chicks. I think my friend Homer, did Homer tell me about this? Or my niece Timmy? I can't remember. You both are amazing, though. The History Chicks, you guys. These women have, first of all, I love listening to them talk. Their voices are just perfect for audio. And their premise is they find women in history, they do research on them, and then they come together. I don't even think they're in the same studio. They come together virtually and they do a quick intro of the woman that they're going to talk about today. And then one woman does her, here is my verbal biography, my audio biography of this incredible woman. And then they'll interject here and there. And then the other one will do her notes. They have a great website that supports their podcast with all of the content that they use to support their podcast. It's so cool. It's not a feminist, I'm doing air quotes, it's not a feminist kind of podcast, but it's just so amazing to hear the inside story on all these women, from Pocahontas and all the women of the Tudor dynasty to Lizzie Borden. And then they'll also randomly pick these fictional women. So they've done Cinderella, they've done Mrs. Claus, they've done Wonder Woman. You guys, highly entertaining and educational. So, if you haven't listened to the History Chicks, you definitely should. So, some of my favorites were all the Tudor episodes. You guys, I learned so much about the Tudors and that dratted Henry VIII. So much. The November 2018 episode of Anne Frank was incredibly moving. And then honorary mention for their spinoff called the Recapery. Recapery. So it's a play on words, recapping. It's a series on, they're doing a audio commentary on the series The Crown, the Netflix series The Crown. Is it the Netflix or is it Amazon? I can't remember. You know what I mean. But the series The Crown, they're talking through each episode, giving you backstories to help understand where the particular episode didn't fill in all the gaps for you about why they are behaving the way they're behaving, or telling you about the accuracy of the dress or the content in the room. Is this accurate? Is it not? So interesting. So interesting. So the Recapery is a honorable mention. Okay, and then my last favorite podcast is All for Fun, and it's called The Office Ladies. And I love The Office, the series. We might have had an Office Olympics in one of my places of employment one year. Just such a fun series. And the women, Pam and I can't remember her name, Angela. They played Pam and Angela. These two women are doing the same thing that the History Chicks did on the Recapery. Is they're just talking through each episode week by week. What was going on behind the scenes? What were their thoughts behind it? What were the giggles? What were the, it just entertaining. And I'm here to tell you, I wish the cast of Friends would do this for the Friends series. Wouldn't that be amazing? Now, maybe I'm a dork and you all are not fans of Friends like I am, or fans of The Office like I am. But if you are, you're my people. And I just think that would be super cool. So if any of you know someone who knows someone who knows someone, right? The 7 degrees of separation, tell the cast of Friends to do a podcast recapping their episodes. I would totally subscribe to that. Okay, you guys, this was a fun, light and airy episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm not quite sure that I'm ready to tell you what's coming up next week. But as always, if you found this fun, if you found this entertaining, if you found it helpful, share it with a friend. I would really appreciate it. And until next week, I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.